1971 and the birth of Bangladesh. Bangladesh has demanded $4.5 billion from Pakistan over pre-1971 assets and cyclone aid, money that Pakistan has not paid then East Pakistan and has been holding on to that money since 1971. This is a major setback for Pakistan that sought to tie up with Bangladesh to target India. But Pakistan's foreign minister, he is to visit Dhaka on the 27th and 28th of April. And incidentally, this would be the first visit of a Pakistani foreign minister to Bangladesh since 2012. But I want to quote what has been said by the Foreign Secretary of Bangladesh. He said, and I quote, "We raised the historical unsettled issues with Pakistan, including a formal public apology for the atrocities committed during the 1971 liberation war by the Pakistani forces and the pending financial claims," unquote. This is Muhammad Jashimuddin, Foreign Secretary of Bangladesh. He was quoted saying this after his meeting with his Pakistani counterpart. Bangladesh has also made it very clear it wants a formal apology and $4.5 billion that's pending payment. And these are issues that need to be resolved, says Bangladesh, for laying a solid foundation for the Pakistan-Bangladesh relations. But Pakistan has no money. Pakistan, that's begging for each $1 billion, can ill afford to pay Bangladesh $4.5 billion because neither Saudi Arabia nor UAE are willing to give any more zakat to Pakistan. China extracts its pound of flesh. It takes over one more part of Balochistan or Sindh or Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir for giving any money, and Pakistan can ill afford to repay. Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar is scheduled to pay an official visit to Dhaka, and this would be, like I said, on the 27th and 28th of April. The first visit by a Pakistani Foreign Minister since 2012. So, this is Bangladesh that's saying, fine, you want to be friends, first apologize for 1971 atrocities. What were the atrocities? And I'll just tell you, it's a shocking eye-opener when millions of women, Bangladeshi women or East Pakistani women, were gang raped by Pakistan Army soldiers as part of Operation Searchlight. They were raped because the West Pakistani said, these are dirty people, let's impregnate them so that the next generation that's born are strong, sturdy Pakistani men. This was the mindset of the Pakistan Army generals. But that mindset actually stays even now. The current Army Chief of Pakistan, General Asim Munir, many call him Maulana Asim Munir. Well, he said the two-nation theory. He's talked about the two-nation theory. We'll also get you how India's External Affairs Ministry has responded to what he said. Listen in to General Asim Munir and we'll get you India's response too.
पाकिस्तान की कहानी अपने बच्चों को जो है आपने जरूर सुनानी है ताकि वो पाकिस्तान की कहानी ना भूलें. Well, our forefathers, they thought that we are different from the Hindus in every possible aspect of life. Our religion is different. Our customs are different. Our traditions are different. Our thoughts are different. Our ambitions are different. That was the foundation of the two-nation theory that was laid there. That we are two nations. We are not one nation. So because of that, our forefathers, they struggled, mounted that incessant struggle to create this country. Our forefathers, they have sacrificed immensely, and we have sacrificed a lot for the creation of this country, and we know how to defend it. My dear brothers and sisters and sons and daughters, please don't forget the story of Pakistan, and don't forget to narrate the story of Pakistan to your next generation so that their bond with Pakistan, it never weakens. Whether it is the third generation or the fourth generation or the fifth generation, they know that what Pakistan is for them. आज तक इंसानियत की तारीख में सिर्फ दो रियासतें हैं जो कलमे की बुनियाद पर बनी हैं. पहली जो थी उसका नाम है रियासत तैयबा, क्योंकि तैयबा जो है वो नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने उसको नाम दिया था. और जबकि कुरान में उसका नाम है यसरब, या अहले यसरबा ला मुकाम लकुम फरजिउ, ये कुरान में नाम है उसका, जो आज जिसको मदीना अल मुनव्वरा कहा जाता है. और दूसरी रियासत जो है वो उसके 1300 साल के बाद अल्लाह ताला ने ये आपकी बनाई है कलमे की बुनियाद के ऊपर.
How can anything foreign be there in a jugular vein. It is this is a union territory of India. Its only relationship with Pakistan is the vacation of illegally occupied territories by that country.
So what was Operation Searchlight all about? And for the benefit of this generation, you must know what Pakistan did to then East Pakistan or current Bangladesh. 3 million people were massacred by the Pakistan army. Between 2 lakh to 4 lakh women were gang raped. They were brutally raped by Pakistan army soldiers. There were reports of 1,70,000 abortions of raped women. 30,000 women died by suicide. 5,000 war babies were born. And these are statistics which India did not provide. This was a commission that investigated Pakistan Army's war crimes, and this was their report. There were 10 million refugees. Because when Pakistan Army's atrocities during Operation Searchlight in March of 1971 became unbearable, 10 million people came into Indian territory. 40 million Bangladeshis or Bengalis, then of East Pakistan, they were displaced. There were 942 killing fields that were found in Bangladesh. There were people, the East Pakistanis, the Bengalis, they would just be lined up and they would just be shot dead. And before they would be killed, they would be made to dig their graves, and then they would be buried in the same graves. The survivors would be told, you bury the rest there. Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain joins me on this special broadcast. He's a military historian. He's a former co-commander. Ambassador Veena Sikri is India's former High Commissioner to Bangladesh, joins us on this show. Arzu Kazmi is a journalist who joins us from Pakistan. And Ambassador Sikri, you were a High Commissioner in Bangladesh, and this was a very sore issue with people in Bangladesh. They wanted an apology from Pakistan. Now, when there's an establishment that's seen as very close to Jamaat-e-Islami or radical Islamists in Bangladesh, and they demand an apology, is this perfunctory or are they serious about it?
This is complete eyewash. Let me tell you, Gaurav, this is complete eyewash. You are very right. You have narrated the facts accurately about what happened in 1971. And it is also very true that for the last 54 years, this has been at the forefront of the demand of the people of Bangladesh, that they want apology from Pakistan. They want $4.3 billion in reparation. All that is absolutely true. But today, the Muhammad Yunus unconstitutional illegitimate regime is putting this as eyewash. They know that the people of Bangladesh will not accept a reordering of the relationship with Pakistan. They will not accept friendship with Pakistan unless these things are done. So they have put it on the table in the talks with the Foreign Secretary, and they will repeat it in the talks with the Deputy Prime Minister. But the end outcome is going to be, yes, we have made the demand, but we will continue to talk on that, and we will also continue to develop our good relations with Pakistan. So what is going to happen is that this will give them the freedom to develop the relations with Pakistan by saying that we have put the demands on the table and we are talking to them, and we'll get it for you by tomorrow, day after, tomorrow, day after. So this is a complete eyewash, just a sanction.
Eyewash, you say. I want to bring in General Hasnain. General Hasnain, this generation in Bangladesh may not know, and especially if it's a generation that's being brought up on, which is feared by radical Islamists who now run that country. You also heard what Pakistan's army chief said, and we played that out. I'll come to that in just a moment. But what do you make of this? What were the atrocities and how grave were those atrocities that were carried out by West Pakistanis on then East Pakistanis, or as many say, by the Punjabis, the Pashtuns on that side, on the Bengalis this side?
Gaurav, thank you first of all for inviting me for your program. No doubt, I was an 18-year-old in 1971, and I still remember night after night watching television or hearing All India Radio at that time. And we used to hear of this all the time. You have just related the truth, the stark truth completely for this generation to understand. Because not many people are aware of what Operation Searchlight was all about. You've just given the facts. But the current linkage to what is happening in Bangladesh, I couldn't agree more with Ambassador Veena Sikri. I was myself wondering as to what will be the stance that people will take on this program. And I'm happy to see that there is no doubt about it that this has become an aberration suddenly. a stark aberration in the cascading build-up of the relationship between the illegal government in Dhaka at the moment and Pakistan, which has been happening for the better part of the last 4 or 5 months. And suddenly you find a stop being put suddenly there, an unnatural stop being put there by raising this issue of 1971. Obviously, as Ambassador Veena Sikri very correctly says, it seems to be that it's been put there as an eyewash, a red herring to take out the complete, allegations which are being put against the current government in Dhaka, that they are hand in glove with Pakistan, and the ISI's presence there is all about creating a third front against India. So obviously we'll have to wait and watch these events as we go along, but I entirely agree with Ambassador Veena Sikri.
Okay, I want to bring in Arzu Kazmi. Arzu, are people in Pakistan aware of what the generals then who were leading Pakistan army, General Tika Khan, before he was called the butcher of Balochistan, was actually the butcher of Bengalis in Bangladesh, the massacre that had been carried out? Can you imagine, Arzu, 3 million people, 30 lakh log, 30 lakh people killed. Can you imagine between 2 lakh to 4 lakh women being raped, and by Muslim women, Hindu women here in Bangladesh or then East Pakistan being raped by people who came from West Pakistan? Can you even imagine that? 2 lakh to 4 lakh women being raped, 1,70,000 abortions after these rapes, 30,000 women who committed suicide because they were sex slaves, Arzu?
Exactly, Gaurav, you are right, but unfortunately Pakistan will not accept it, and यहाँ पर कोई भी इस बात को ना तो मानेगा ना ही सॉरी बोलेगा, because I think 2 साल पहले मेरे शो में एक ब्रिगेडियर साहब आए थे और उनसे जब मैंने यही बात पूछी तो उन्होंने कहा कि वो इंडियन आर्मी थी जो पाकिस्तान के यूनिफॉर्म पहनकर ये सब कुछ कर रही थी, और मैं वो क्लिप आपको, वो शो आपको भेज सकती हूँ जिसमें उन्होंने ये बात की, और उसके बाद दोबारा वो मेरे शो में नहीं आए। उन्होंने यही कहा कि जो कुछ हुआ बांग्लादेश में, इंडियन आर्मी वाज रिस्पांसिबल फॉर दैट, नॉट पाकिस्तान आर्मी। तो वो पूरी तरीके से उन्होंने उस चीज को इग्नोर कर दिया, उसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया। तो आपको क्या लगता है कि यहाँ पे जो हिस्ट्री हम लोगों को, हमारी जनरेशन को पढ़ाई गई है, आपको लगता है कि वो सही है? हम लोग तो यही पढ़ते आए हैं कि हमने सारी जंगें जो है वो जीती थी और आप लोगों ने स्टार्ट की थी, और बांग्लादेश में जो भी हुआ उसका सारा रिस्पॉन्सिबल भारत है और हमारी तरफ से कोई गलती नहीं हुई थी। तो आई डोंट थिंक एनीबडी विल एक्सेप्ट दिस।
Okay, Pakistan Army continues to do that. But for this generation, Ambassador Sikri, I want you to tell this generation what actually happened. Who was General Tika Khan? Who was General Yahya Khan? General A.A.K. Niazi, of course, a lot of people know because he was the one who surrendered, who signed that instrument of surrender on 16th of December 1971 to General Arora. But why was General Tika Khan known as the butcher of Bengalis in then East Pakistan, madam?
Well, the entire history of what happened in 1971 boils down to the West Pakistani distaste for the people of East Pakistan. A complete distaste, a complete abhorrence, a racist approach to the people of East Pakistan. And combined with that, they think they have racial superiority and intellectual superiority, and they do not want to give any rights. I'm saying this because the entire problem arose because in the 1970 elections, perhaps the only fair elections held in Pakistan in the last 75 plus years, that in those elections, it was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who won an overwhelming majority, and he should have been the Prime Minister of Pakistan. That was absolutely the purpose for which the elections were held, and he won the overwhelming majority. If you take both West Pakistan and East Pakistan together, he should have been the Prime Minister. But Bhutto, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in the West would not allow it. And he said, no, he cannot be the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So, you be in the West and we be in the East, that kind of thing, telling Sheikh Mujib, you do what you want in East Pakistan, I will be here, etc. Obviously, it's not acceptable to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and there were talks held on it. And, there was, Yahya Khan was in Dhaka for talks, and the talks broke down because they were not ready. After promising to hold the assembly, the parliament, with all the elected leaders, that the parliament was never held. The talks with Sheikh Mujib broke down, and Yahya Khan left Dhaka on the 23rd of March 1971 and ordered Operation Searchlight. And that is where the genocide started. I mean, this story of saying the Indian army did everything, the Indian army was not there for 9 months. It's only in December that the actual war broke out. Before that, it was, where the absolute, the rape, the killings, the lynchings, the intellectuals' murder, and the absolutely horrendous genocide perpetrated by the army of West Pakistan on the people of East Pakistan. This is something absolutely that should be written in the annals of the world history as one of the worst events of its kind to ever take place. And but the people of Bangladesh fought back. They declared their own independence. There was a proclamation of independence on the 11th of April, 1971. And that proclamation, that constitution was drawn up later. And we know that how although 10 million refugees from East Pakistan came into India, but the Indian government fought, and the Indian army and the Bangladesh.
I want to stay on that issue, General Hasnain, of Pakistan army ordering the rape of Bengali women. Nasl badalne ke liye, because they said the next generation should not be like these dirty Bengalis or words to that effect that was used. They wanted the next generation to be strong, tall, like the West Pakistanis, and this was state-sponsored or Pakistan army-sponsored rape of millions, lakhs and lakhs of Bengali women raped and killed, General Hasnain. State-sponsored, wasn't it, sir?
See, Gaurav, I think today's generation, what they need to know and what they need to get reiterated to them is the aberration that was the Pakistani nation. Separated by 1,500 kilometers of Indian territory, a Bengali nation, Muslim, so-called, joined together by the Islamic faith. Proven thereafter that there was no such thing as the linkage within Islam or within a religion. And it's the Western Pakistan, the West Pakistani elements who consider themselves superior, their language Urdu superior to Bengali, who wish to put it down to the Bengalis that they were an inferior people. And that is why the whole human rights, the entire human rights campaign started against the Bengalis to exterminate the intellectuals. The Operation Searchlight was not only about targeting women, not only about targeting others, but targeting the intellectuals of Bangladesh. And hundreds and thousands of them were killed. I want to congratulate Arzu ji. I was hearing her program also today, and she has given reference to the Hamoodur Rahman Commission, which is necessary in Pakistan for people to know and understand. It's been put under wraps, and no one in Pakistan in current generation knows what actually happened. It's all there, given in the Hamoodur Rahman report.
Oh, absolutely. And Arzu, अगर पाकिस्तान में इसकी चर्चा होगी, तो आप गिरफ्तार हो जाएंगी, आपके एसेट्स फ्रीज कर लिए जाएंगे, आपके पैसे बैंक पे बंद कर दिए जाएंगे, जेल में हो जाएंगे, या फिर पाकिस्तान की नई जनरेशन को ये सच्चाई पता चलेगी कि बांग्लादेश के लिए या ईस्ट पाकिस्तान के लिए ये कितना दर्द था। हालांकि अब उसी तरह के जमायत इस्लामी के लोग अब बांग्लादेश में भी राज कर रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान में भी आपके आर्मी चीफ टू नेशन थ्योरी और मुस्लिम सुपीरियर रेस और हिंदू और ये वो इस तरह की बातें करते हैं।
देखें गौरव, ऑलरेडी जो चीजें आप बता रहे हैं कि बैंक फ्रीज हो जाएगा या डॉक्यूमेंट्स फ्रीज हो जाएंगे, वो ऑलरेडी मेरे हो चुके हैं और एफआईआर भी इन्होंने ऑलरेडी लॉन्च कर दी है। लेकिन बाकी ये जरूर है कि जो नई जनरेशन है, हमारे बाद वाली जनरेशन भी जो है वो अब जान गई है सच्ची बात, उनको पता लग गई है और अब वो उसी चीज को फॉलो कर रहे हैं और इसीलिए परेशान है। इसीलिए बार बार टू नेशन थ्योरी की बात की जाती है, बार बार कश्मीर कश्मीर किया जाता है, जबकि हाल ये है कि आप जानते हैं कि बलूचिस्तान में क्या हो रहा है और केपीके में क्या हो रहा है। तो ये एक्सेप्ट करें या ना करें, लेकिन जो नई जनरेशन आ रही है वो डेफिनेटली वो हमसे ज्यादा स्मार्ट है और उनको पहले से सब कुछ पता है।
And this new generation, because, you know, Pakistan army, like a leopard, cannot change its spots, Ambassador Sikri, considering General Tikka Khan carried out that same brutal rape, murder, mayhem in then East Pakistan, and they did exactly the same in Balochistan just a couple of years later, 1973 onwards. So the butcher of Bengalis became the butcher of Balochistan, madam, and that continues till date under Asim Munir.
Yeah. I mean, this is amazing because it's so globalism. You think that you can repeat a lie 1,000 times and it'll become the truth. It does not become the truth. But the amazing propensity of the Pakistan army to delude themselves and delude their own people that, the history is not what it is. And you believing in the two-nation theory, we all know that the two-nation theory fell to smithereens when Bangladesh was created. And now they are trying to re-establish it because the people who have done the regime change in Bangladesh, they are the ones who were the losers in 1971. The Pakistan army was the loser, the Jamaat-e-Islami was the loser, the Radhakars were the loser, and they think that now in August 2024, they have now won, and now they're trying to obliterate the memory of 1971 and teach something else to their children. But as our very distinguished panelist from Pakistan is correctly saying, the younger generation is too smart to be fooled. And they know they have access to social media, they have access to the internet, they have access to opinions in all countries. So they cannot be fooled by just one, chief of army staff who is actually known as even a Maulana by many people in his own country. And, and so that they know it. And I think the people of Bangladesh are equally smart, the younger generation. And they know it. They will not be fooled by what the Yunus regime and his foreign affairs advisor and others are trying to do with Pakistan.
In India today, we'll be putting out those details of Operation Searchlight. But go on, madam, complete your point, please. Please go ahead, madam.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that Pakistan is all set. Pakistan, China, and Bangladesh to create this three-front attack on India, and they think that they can get away with it, but they should know they cannot. India's security lines are red lines are very clear. We know what those red lines are. The Yunus regime is trying its best to cross every security red line, whether it is Lal Munir Hat, new modernization of Air Force Base by China and Pakistan, whether it is giving the Tisa water management project to China instead of to India, giving the Mongla port development project to China instead of India. These are all trying to reverse both Mongla and Tista, the decisions of the previous Sheikh Hasina government. But this is not going to have any impact because it's hurting our security such a lot that there are going to be serious consequences.
Okay, General Hasnain, what do you make of what General Asim Munir said about the two-nation theory, about Kashmir being their shehrag or their jugular vein, and India's response? Why does he sound very, very desperate given how popular Imran Khan, despite being in jail, is, how youngsters are against him, and how overseas Pakistanis have been targeting General Asim Munir's regime?
See, Gaurav, General Munir, the way he has spoken, his body language itself, and the reception and response which the audience has actually given him, all goes to show that the confidence of the Pakistani nation is at its lowest ebb at the moment. It's breaking up virtually. Its economy is in shambles completely. There are terror attacks in the west. There are terror attacks from the PLA in Balochistan. There is the streets have been taken over by radical elements everywhere. This is the kind of message which Munir is sending out, that despite all this, Pakistan continues to remain the other state almost as if it is a replica of the state created by the Prophet in Medina way back in the 7th century AD. I think this could be the biggest aberration, the biggest sacrilege, and he should be taken to task by a lot of people in the clergy. Because Pakistan, comparing Pakistan as a state which is parallel and something equivalent to the state created in Medina by the Holy Prophet, I think to my mind is the ultimate disgrace you can bring to Islam anywhere. Because Pakistan, you know what it is. It's a state which respects nothing. There is no state existent as such. There is terror everywhere, and it's a state which is completely breaking up. He is attempting to try and appeal to the Kashmiris. On this line, he's trying to appeal to the Kashmiris to think of looking at Pakistan. Imagine that kind of a state which India has created, and how Kashmir is joined with Pakistan, with India.
Yeah, that's a very, very pertinent point he's making, that he's insulting Islam by calling Pakistan or comparing Pakistan to Riyasat-e-Madina. Of course, Imran Khan did the same. It landed him in jail. And Arzu, I want to understand from you, Riyasat-e-Madina is what Imran Khan also wanted to make Pakistan. He ended up in jail. Asim Munir is also now using the same line. So both resorting to religion as a very desperate measure. लेकिन दोनों के बीच तो 36 का आंकड़ा है. दोनों तो एक दूसरे के जानी दुश्मन है. पाकिस्तान में एक मयान में दो तलवार नहीं रह सकते, या आसिम मुनीर या इमरान खान. क्या ये सच है और दोनों में से एक ही रहेगा? दोनों एक दूसरे के गले को पकड़ रहे हैं इस समय.
लग तो ऐसे ही रहा है कि इस वक्त जो है वो आर्मी और इमरान खान के बीच में बिल्कुल बात नहीं बन पा रही है, लेकिन यहाँ पर कुछ भी हो सकता है. यू नेवर नो कि किस वक्त इमरान खान इनकी कौन सी बात मान जाए या ये इमरान खान की कौन सी बात मान जाए. लेकिन कहने वाले तो ये कहते हैं कि इस वक्त आर्मी जो है वो इमरान खान से एनआरओ मांग रही है, मगर ये कहाँ तक सही है ये नहीं पता. लेकिन ये जरूर है कि इस वक्त दोनों मुश्किल में है,
बहुत मुश्किल में है, और दोनों में से एक ही पाकिस्तान में रह सकता है. तो या तो आसिम मुनीर के दिन खत्म होने वाले हैं या इमरान खान के. ऐसा असेसमेंट जो एनालिस्ट स्थिति को देखते हैं उनका आकलन है. बट दिस इज अ स्टोरी दैट बांग्लादेश मस्ट नो. This generation of Bangladesh must know what happened with their mothers and their grandmothers and their great-grandmothers at the hands of Pakistanis. So when Muhammad Yunus ties up with the Pakistanis, he's putting their future generation exactly down the same path that they once have already been, and I'm sure the end will not be very good for them. And we'll be tracking that story very, very closely, as good neighbors should. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me. Ambassador Sikri, General Hasnain and Arzu Kazmi, thank you for joining me on this India Today special. A quick break. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.
Motorola Edge 60 Fusion. Edge out the ordinary.
While covering news, there is no room for fluff. No distractions. No dodging the truth. No blanks, no misfires. Just sharp, fearless journalism. Every story, every debate, every question. Straight to the point.
Next year, that'll be me.
A star, gotta play, I drive to perfection. Yeah, I bet you know the way I strive. I'm on the edge out of the ordinary, heading for the prize light. Boom, I'm in the stars, and I know it 'cause it feels right. Can you see me shine? True colors, do you feel?
I will never be ordinary.
Introducing the all-new Motorola Edge 60 Fusion. Edge out the ordinary.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 60 Fusion. Edge out the ordinary.
Hi, here are the top headlines presented by Motorola. PM spoke to Musk over phone. Jagan Reddy's shares worth crores seized. Sambhal CEO gets clean chit for Holijuma remark.
Motorola Edge 60 Fusion. Edge out the ordinary.
Hello?
You must be tired like me of hearing countless broadcasts like these.
Cyber frauds are the new age white-collared crime.
They don't break into your home, but they break into your bank account directly.
Project Shield is an India Today initiative to expose their dirty tricks
And help you outsmart the scammers. Come join us and be 2 steps ahead of fraudsters. Because better safe than sorry.
and welcome to yet another edition of Democratic Newsroom. This time our crack team of editors have got together to debate a rather unfortunate story. Because as the Waqf bill was being passed in Parliament and then of course consecutively became a law, riots broke out in Murshidabad, West Bengal. The TMC government has blamed the BJP as well as central agencies like the BSF, suggesting that they colluded and fanned the riot fires. The BJP clearly has looked at the TMC and suggesting that this is all appeasement. Mamata Banerjee not even talking to the Hindu families who've been targeted in this violence, but continuing to appease a particular community. So who fanned the riot flame? Let's take it to our band of editors this evening. Joining me, Gaurav Sawant, right here with me, Akshata Nandgopal, Kamlesh, as well as we have a guest from Mumbai, Sahil Joshi. Gaurav, you know, you've been looking at all the debates that took place in Parliament where the Waqf bill was being discussed. Days after that, there was, you know, an uneasy calm where violence was expected in various parts of India. It didn't quite happen anywhere else. But Murshidabad, already, you know, fires were simmering there post because it colluded with Ram Navami. And then riots broke out. How do you gauge the situation?
So the situation was extremely grim. The fact that Bangladesh or elements from Bangladesh and central forces were being blamed, was this deflection tactics? Because look at the people who've been taken into custody. Kalu Mehtab, Didar Mehtab and an Inzamamul Haq. They're all locals who've been taken into custody. Are we to believe that elements came from outside, from Bangladesh, as Bengal leaders seem to put it, that they were aided and abetted by the BSF to come into India and then specifically target Hindu homes, go and kill a 70-year-old Ma Durga and Ma Saraswati idol maker Hargobind Das, who's 70, and his son Chandan Das, who's 40. So this clearly doesn't add up, because some say that they were cadre or workers of a particular political party, and that was one of the reasons why they were targeted. So were these targeted killings? Then the BJP has gone on record to say that mosque loudspeakers were used for sloganeering, and that led to people coming out and then targeting Hindus. God forbid if that is true, then it's very dangerous, because India has lived through it. We've lived through 1990 when we saw Ralev, Galev ya Salev in Kashmir, where mosque loudspeakers were used and Hindus were thrown out of Kashmir. Okay. God forbid that should never happen in Bengal.
All right, you know, to give our viewers perspective, there are 3 dead, hundreds of refugees right now in Murshidabad. Some of them, of course, have made their way back to Murshidabad. As I speak, the governor, Ananda Bose, is on his way to Murshidabad. So lots happening politically where political commentary is concerned. Sahil, Sahil does the debate show at 5 p.m. Dangal on Aaj Tak, and today, and this has been one of your main topics of debate. How do you view the current development, Sahil? Who fanned the riot flame in Murshidabad?
Well, interestingly, when the debate started about Waqf Board, the Waqf Amendment Bill, it was never Hindu versus Muslim. It suddenly became a Hindu versus Muslim when the riots happened in Bengal. It's what I can see clearly. Secondly, even during the debate in the parliament, it was very interesting to see that suddenly Kiran Rijiju specifically, when the Shiv Sena UBT leader Arvind Sawant was defending opposition stand to oppose the Waqf Amendment Bill, he suddenly came out and said, you're forgetting what Balasaheb Thackeray has done as a leader of Hindutva. Similarly, situation what we saw in Rajya Sabha when Praful Patel also tried to rake up the same issue. So the whole debate turned into a Hindu versus Muslim, when the government stand has always been that this bill will actually bring in a good faith for the Muslims, for the betterment of the Muslims, to create the educational and healthcare institutes for the Muslims, which was original idea of the Waqf properties, which was not being done. But now it has turned into a completely Hindu versus Muslim debate. And that is where I think it started derailing the whole conversation. And it looked like the Supreme Court has clearly pointed out 3 issues which are actually very core at the heart of this particular debate. And it looks like now that what happened in Bengal, in Murshidabad, it has given a chance to create that kind of atmosphere again. And I think that we will see that more on after 7 days, when there will be another debate, or the kind of arguments will be put by.
Okay. So you're saying there's of course a correlation with what's happening right now in Supreme Court, where the Waqf petitions are being heard, and what happened yesterday. But we're going to try and focus also primarily on West Bengal. But Kamlesh, it was always about Hindu and Muslims. Clearly, it wasn't about Hindu and Muslims when the debates were going on. But ultimately, it wasn't supposed to be that, but it was about Hindu and Muslims, and that's what the rhetoric became, especially in cities and smaller towns where where division is very clear. So, were you surprised with what happened in Murshidabad? And were you surprised that how the politics has played out ever since, with the BJP and the TMC going at each other, where appeasement is concerned?
Not at all.
Not surprised?
Not surprised. See, the answer to your question we'll get after the investigation is done, the results of which we will not trust, because the extreme polarization in our politics. What worries me, or should worry everyone, is that that area, because of unchecked infiltration over decades, has led to a demographic shift, that it has become a powder keg now. So it can be a work board